Hello world, it's Kurtis Potter with Boundless Inspiration. Now, it's 2022, it's a new year, so I'm focusing a lot of my videos on just forward momentum, focus, intentionality, looking yourself in the mirror, the man and woman in the mirror, and just some positivity. I had to throw this one in there though, because I have somebody that I know who's struggling with some deaths in their family. It's a reality of today. We have people that's died from COVID. There's so many random deaths. If you think about how many vehicles are in America. So I had a buddy that was on his way to work, got hit by a dump truck, passed away. He was living right. His health was right. He's doing a lot of great things. He was a volunteer firefighter, volunteering his time, not even getting paid. That's what he did after work. Got in a wreck with a dump truck and didn't live. We have all these people that are overdosing, higher rates than ever because of the fentanyl they're putting in the crap right now. All these addictions, they're just at our fingertips. People are dying. This crap they're putting in our food, people are dying. The cancer, there's just so many people passing away. And then you think about the suicide rate, higher than ever. It's a hard time we live in, so there's deaths. This person I know, in the same year, lost their mother, their father, and their sister. Natural causes and a car wreck, different situations, had lost 3 different family members and the closest family members to her. She's struggling. So I had to take a break in my videos to just tell you about the dream that I had. Now, I'll tell you, this was in a time where I was debating suicide. And to a point where I was actually, in my mind, had different scenarios played out of how I was actually debating doing it. I really needed to get help. And I'm glad that I got past that part of my life where I found my worth to myself, not to other people. And see, that's the problem was I was putting my worth in comparison to what other people valued me as. People were checking out of my life. Some of it I caused, some of them they just did because of their reasons. But I had abandonment issues. I had anger issues. I had all these issues that I was just bottling in, like guys sometimes, especially, we just hold it in and we don't let it out. And it just bottles up and just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then sometimes that's why we blow up, because sometimes as men, if we express our feelings, people think we're weak or, angry or just whatever. But it's like, in society, a lot of times as guys, we hold it in. Even women, there's women out there that need to go to counseling, but the pride and the ego are like, nope, I'm not going. And all that causes is you to explode. So I was in this point in my life where I was keeping everything in, had those tough shoulders, I can handle this. But deep down in my heart, my mind, I was just breaking, right? And I was blessed enough for this person to be willing to share this with me, that she even admitted that she was messing up her life because she couldn't get over the pain of losing her mom, her dad, and her sister in the same year. And I said, you know what, I can understand some heartbreak, but I can't even begin to tell myself or tell you that I understand what you're feeling, because my mom, my dad, my siblings are still living. I said, but I want to tell you this story of a dream I had when I was debating committing suicide. So see, the thing is actually, this dream had happened. Actually, it was just about 1.5 years ago. And see, I had suicidal thoughts years ago. I almost committed suicide when I was, 15. And see, it haunted me for those years. And even later on, when you have certain thoughts like that, you're going through a hard time and they'll just pop in your head. And see, I wasn't as serious as like committing suicide at that point. But see, that's how the devil works. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy. And he'll remind you of your past. He'll remind you of the hard things in your life to create confusion, right? So I was in a hard place in my life. And I was, when things are hard, it would just pop up. Like that's the easy way out, right? And sometimes when you start having those thoughts, you're like, man, is this what I should do? Should I walk out of my relationship? Should I quit this job? Should I tell this person off? Should I get revenge? Should I commit suicide? Should I do these drugs? Should I drink that bottle of alcohol? Should I, right? There's so many thoughts that can come in your head. And I was glad that God showed me this dream. I really feel like it was a dream from God to stop those bad thoughts that would randomly pop in my head. And I think that this dream was given to me as a message to tell other people. So in the dream, it was crazy because my neighbor at the time when I was living in Florida, he refurbished surfboards, right? And he said, I've got this smaller surfboard and I'm going to give it to you for your son so he can learn how to surf. At the beach right across from my place, I was on the A1A living in there. You just walk right to the beach. It's a 5-minute walk from my front door. And there was actually some pro surfers that surfed right on right off the water, the entrance from my place. So he's like, man, you know what? We're going to get your kids out there. They're going to surf and become pro surfers. So I had a dream that I had committed suicide by swimming my surfboard way out further than I could even swim and then pretty much just jumping off. That way, like, say even in the dream, I think it was because like, if I committed suicide, I wanted my kids to have like an insurance policy. I wanted their dad to think he went out the right way, like on accident, so that way my kids didn't have issues. Like kids where their parents commit suicide, it gives them all kinds of issues, so I was like somewhat trying to look out for my kids, but also trying to take the easy way out because I was weak and everything. So I had this dream and then later I had another dream. And in this dream, I actually, I went on vacation somewhere and there was these killer whales. They were all swimming. It must have been like in Cali or something. I don't know where they are. And we're all out in the ocean and I think we were actually surfing and I was like, I'm going to try to ride one of these killer whales. They're coming right up to us and everybody's like, no, don't, just barely touch them, but don't spook them. They're killer whales, they'll kill you. And me, see, I'm an extremist and I like to do stupid stuff sometimes, like jump out of a perfectly functioning airplane, like that's the kind of stuff I like to do. I see those windsuits and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this year. The ones where you look like a flying squirrel. I'm going to get in one of those windsuits. I'm going to jump off a cliff and I'm going to try to fly. It's like, that's me, right? So in this dream I'm like, I'm going to hop on one of these whales and I'm going to ride this thing. So I'm on my surfboard. I wait till one gets kind of right on me. I jump on it and I start riding this thing. And man, it pisses it off, right? It's like, why is this human on my back? So he goes way underwater to where I can't even breathe no more. I had to let go. I'm trying to swim to the top. They say, dude, the whale comes up and he bites me, pretty much bites me in half. That's how I died. Don't ask me. It was a dream. It wasn't real, obviously. And I'm not about to commit suicide. It was just, it's just some dreams. So then I instantly go to heaven, right? And see, heaven, it was actually like, I didn't make it all the way to heaven. I made it like halfway. So I'm up in the clouds and I remembered that I could look down and I could see earth. Like I could see like you're flying an airplane, right? But then I hear this voice and it was God. And it said, Kurtis Potter Jr., you made it to heaven. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Obviously I'm dead, but I'm glad I made it to heaven. And he said, but also you made it to hell. And see, I couldn't see God in this. I could just hear a voice. It was like this echoing, deep voice, right? So I was like, God, what does it mean I made it to heaven and I made it to hell? Bam. Instantly, I was at my funeral, right? And I was an angel, like I was a ghost. And I was watching at that moment, my wife, my son, and my daughter were at my casket looking at me. Obviously, they did a good job sewing me back together, whatever, it was open casket. And they were crying, just tears. And I saw my mom, I saw my siblings, I saw everybody that loved me. My funeral was packed. That was a good thing. A lot of people, I guess, was there to celebrate my life and the memories I had with them. And so next thing you know, it was like that night, my wife had got my kids to bed and she went straight to the kitchen and got a bottle of alcohol. She's drinking it. And she's saying, Kurtis, I'm so sorry. I just wish I had one more day with you. And see, what hell on earth meant, and what I feel like God showed me was, every time somebody was hurting because of my death, especially because I got myself killed, like if you make it to hell, you have to be hell on earth as a ghost, and you got to witness it until that person's no longer hurting because of you. So next thing you know, bam, my mom would be at work and she'd be crying inside the bathroom stall in the middle of her work schedule. And she'd be like, son, I just miss you. And I would be there with her and I'd have to witness it. And I couldn't leave. I was like trapped inside that bathroom watching her. It was like that was hell on earth. And then next thing you know, my son started getting into mischief throughout school. He was kind of like me. He was a fighter. He was getting into smoking pot, doing drugs, drinking, partying, sleeping with females. My daughter was having daddy issues. So she was going from relationship to relationship to relationship. I'd be with her sometimes. She'd be crying. She'd be like, I don't want to be like this. But she was struggling not to be. One day I'd be with my wife. One day I'd be with my kids. One day I'd be with my mom. Every single day, if I popped in somebody's mind for a reason, say, you play a song and somebody just pops in your mind, I'd be in a car with them. And see, actually, I spent 88 years on earth in hell because that was actually when my daughter passed away. And she was the last person that was hurting because of my death. That's how long my daughter mourned my death for 88 years. And there was one time where my wife was crying at night and she was drinking herself to sleep and just crying and saying, Potter, I miss you. And I was like, baby, I'm right here. And she looked right at me, but she couldn't see me. And she was like, was that you? And I was like, yes, it's me. And I'm trying to talk to her like the movie Ghost. Yes, I'm here. Please don't cry anymore. I'm sorry. Just move on and become happy. And I'm sorry. But that was hell on earth. And see, the reason why I'm telling you this story, because if you're mourning someone's death, the whole time I was dead, I was wishing, please don't hurt no more because of me. Like it was hurting in my heart still and I was in hell. Please, Brooke, don't hurt no more because of me. Please, Zion. Please, Cypress. Please, Mom. Please, Dad. Please, Sis. I was just begging those people not to hurt. And that's what I truly wanted. And that's why I'm doing this video, because if you are mourning because of someone's loss, please stop. Make the decision to celebrate them. See, I've had some people actually mention to me, Kurtis, why don't you wear black to funerals? Like, I'll be the only person not in all black. And every time I respond, because I am celebrating this person's life, and I just feel like wearing all black is just dark and sad, and you're mourning, and yes, you mourn, I heard somebody say you can mourn for 30 days. I think it says it in the Bible, mourn for 30 days and then move on. Because that's what the person actually wants you to do. Like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's hard when you lose somebody, especially unexpectedly. Mourn. Get through it. You know what? Maybe you got to go to some counseling to get through it. But just because they died doesn't mean you have to die. Don't let it kill you. Don't let it kill your heart. Don't let it kill your mind. Don't let it turn you to a bottle or pills or drugs or anything like that. Don't let it make you become bitter and angry where you're taking it out in the world. You still have a life to live. And when I was a ghost, that's all I wanted. I wanted everybody just to please have the best life. I was like, son, I wanted you to go to Notre Dame College. Please, son, you have it in you. You're so talented. So please get the help that you need and celebrate their life, all the amazing memories. See this girl? She still has a sibling. And it's like, it's so hard, but please just cherish the sibling that you have and make new memories and find a way to celebrate that person. So I've been reading this book, 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And in the book, the author of the book went through some deaths as well. And the way that they actually turned it into good, because they knew the anniversary every year, it was becoming a hard thing. Well, the person that had passed away was like an extremist, loved doing crazy things. So every year on the anniversary, she would do something sporadic and crazy and fun. So one year they actually went skydiving. Like the whole family, and I believe even the grandmother went skydiving. And then the next year they all went like scuba diving. One year they went parasailing. One year I think they did not a stand-up comedy together, but like an impromptu play thing. So they created new, amazing memories. Yeah, they might go to the cemetery and mourn for a little bit, but then they're doing something fun. See, that's that shift and that air that I always talk about. Acknowledge, interrupt, and replace. Acknowledge how you're feeling about that death. Interrupt it with, that's not how that person wants me to feel, and replace it with joy, because that's what that person wants you to do, is be joyful, be happy. Make the best of your life. Achieve things. Knock stuff off your bucket list. Become the best version of yourself. Become boundless. That's what they want. I promise you, I had that dream for a reason, and it was to talk to you about it here today. So if you know somebody that's struggling because of a death, please like, share, comment. Put a comment in the section below of how you have gotten over a death. There's some people out there that need to hear this. And that's the only way that anyone in your social media is going to see it, is if you like, share, comment, tag, whatever, send it to them in their DM. But I promise you, there's a lot of people out there hurting because of some death. And I'll be happy to talk to them. Tell them they can DM me. I'll be happy to speak with them. Put in those comment sections how you got over it. People need some tips other than me, just a dream, you know. It might help them. Going to counseling, it might help them. You know, I believe that it will if you go long enough. I went through this amazing workshop. It was called Zarvos. If you want the information on it, I'll be happy to share it with you, because it was actually something that helped me get over a death myself. Some of the tools that they teach you in there. Folks, don't hurt any longer than you have to. That poison is just killing you. Let's get over it. Move on. Take the first step forward, because you deserve it. And I promise you, whoever's passed away, that's all they want for you. I love you all. This was a hard one, but I know it was also important to tell it, because every single day we're just all getting a step closer to being boundless. You can do it. I have faith in you. and you deserve it. You're worthy of it, and you're capable of it. Let's walk through this together. Have an amazing day.